June 27th was the day the race changed. That was the day that Joe Biden and Donald Trump met on stage for a CNN debate, and ever since then, the entire conversation has not been about who's the better candidate, but whether or not Joe Biden should resign. I've done videos on that. I'm going to continue to do videos on that. But this video caught my attention because this is the first video that I've seen that claims that it's not Joe Biden who should resign because the party is against him, but rather Donald Trump. But before we get into that video, there's a couple things I want to show you. So first, I want to point out that both candidates are generally disliked by all voters, and that's what these polls show. So if we look at Trump's favorability rating, you can see all the various polls that were conducted recently, but the current RCP average spread for Donald Trump is at 10.6. However, when we look at Joe Biden's current spread is at 17.8. So Joe Biden, according to RCP averages, has a lower favorability than Donald Trump at this current moment in time. So why would they be saying that Donald Trump needs to drop? That doesn't make sense. So I wanted to look into it a little bit further. So here we have the latest polls measuring Republicans' favorability of Donald Trump. And you can see over time, it's generally unchanged from February 2021, sitting at 81.2% to February of 2024, and we're still sitting around the same 81%. So really no change for Donald Trump as far as his popularity among Republicans. The unfavorable ratings have gone from 17 to 17.8. So really nothing to see there. What's interesting is when you start trying to look up Joe Biden's approval rating among Democrats, you see here on 538, if we go to Joe Biden, it takes away the ability to look and see how favorable he is among Democrats. So I did some more searching and I came across this. This is a Pew Research article from April 24, 2024 that talks about Joe Biden's trends among Democrats. It says about 2/3 of Democrats and Democratic-leaning independents have a 65% approval rating of Joe Biden's performance. This is a modest improvement over January when 61% of Democrats approved of his job performance. However, Biden's job rating among Democrats remains lower than it has in the first year of his administration. And so you can see here, this is a general approval rating of Joe Biden, and then this is broken out by party. And you can see Democrats and Democrat-leaning independents go from 86 to 65% from 21 to 24. So not a good look for Joe Biden there. But this is consistent with this other article from Reuters that says 57% of Americans disapprove of the president. So you have 57% disapproval, 37% approval. This is of all Americans. But if we look down here, we can see that it does break it out by party. Before we get there, I want to point out that this says that this was last updated on June 28th. However, the graph at the top ends at June 23rd. Again, this is before the debate. So 57% disapproval rating generally. And then if we scroll down here and we look at with the Democrats specifically, we can see that they're currently sitting at 74, and you can see a giant drop right there. Now, whether or not that is on June 28th, the day after the debate, or before the debate, either way, not a good look for Joe Biden. So all of this is to say that there's someone out there who thinks that Donald Trump doesn't have the approval of his party, despite having a consistent 80% approval rating, while Joe Biden is struggling to maintain on his approval amongst Democrats. So with that prep out of the way, let's get into the video.
NBC's Vaughn Hilliard is joining us here in the studio to discuss this. Also with us, Republican strategist and MSNBC political analyst Rick Tyler. He's a former communications director for Ted Cruz. So, Vaughn, start us off here. What can we expect from this rally tonight? Is a VP announcement to come?
Our colleague John Allen says that Marco Rubio, the Florida senator, will be joining him at that rally tonight. Of course, he could very well be one of those VP finalists. We're still looking at North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, potentially J.D. Vance. There is a second rally that is planned for outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, this upcoming Saturday. Of course, that is right before the Milwaukee convention starts on Monday.
I think I just want to say before they get into why Donald Trump should step down, you can see the title of the video up there. Donald Trump should resign. GOP strategist shares why he thinks he will split the party. I just want to say how funny it is that Donald Trump is going around and just like rubbing it in all of the potential VP picks' faces. I remember when he went to Ohio, everybody's like, oh, Vivek's from Ohio. Maybe he's going to pick Vivek. And now they're doing the same thing with Rubio and everybody else. I think that's just funny. And it's typical Trump stuff.
I want to let you listen, though, to Donald Trump in a conversation, a taped conversation with Sean Hannity last night about the state of his decision-making process. Take a listen.
Okay.
I haven't made final decision, but I have some ideas as to where we're going, and a little bit, we wanted to see what they're doing, to be honest, because, it might make a difference. I don't know. I'd love to do it during the convention. I think it would be a very interesting build-up and important for the convention. It would make it even more exciting.
Yeah, so I expect that's when he'll make the announcement, is either during or just before or something like that. I do think it's interesting that he's kind of considering what they're doing, meaning what the Democrats are doing. I would guess that what he's alluding to is whether or not Joe Biden is going to stay in the race or whether or not he's going to drop for Kamala Harris and how that would affect his decision making. I think I heard some other people make some great arguments that if the other candidate were to be Kamala Harris, that Tulsi Gabbard makes the most sense because of how she destroyed her during the primary debate in 2020. That could be an interesting pick. I'm kind of hoping for a wild card pick like that. The names that I keep seeing are Doug Burgum and JD Vance. Those are like the top two contenders, according to Vegas betting odds, predicted, and everything else. So interesting that he's taking that into consideration. I think if they pick another candidate besides Joe Biden, they're basically throwing their chances of winning in the toilet. But I think they've already kind of done that with Biden's debate performance.
That is a shift because it was only just a few days ago that he was suggesting publicly that he had already made the decision in his mind, but now is seeming to leave open the door to wait to see what the state of Biden's candidacy looks like.
And fill us in on these changes to the RNC platform as we head into the convention next week.
Right. The last time the Republican Party adopted a platform was in 2016 before their convention in Cleveland. And just yesterday, it was a proposed platform that was passed by the platform committee that will be voted on by the full RNC delegation in Milwaukee next week. But this platform, the proposed platform, received the backing of Donald Trump just yesterday. And there was two notable parts of this. Number one, there was a call for the largest deportation program in American history. There was also the call to have individuals who brought prosecutions against perceived political enemies to go and be targeted and investigated themselves. Of course, then, though, there was notably on abortion, there was I guess you could say, a little bit watered down policy platform as opposed to 2016, when in the GOP's platform, they called for what they referred to as a human life amendment to be added to the U.S. Constitution, essentially a federal abortion ban. This platform, this proposed platform, though, yesterday said that this should be a decision left to the states. And on same-sex marriage in 2016, that platform from the GOP, there was a reference to being a marriage between being one man and one woman. This go around, it is only a reference to the sanctity of marriage. So a little bit watered down version of same-sex marriage reference to.
Interesting stuff there on the platform. I want to do a separate video on the platform if I can find a decent one that kind of breaks down all the new stuff in the platform. All I'll say about it right now is that if it has the support of Donald Trump, as we just showed, Donald Trump has 80% support among Republicans. There's no reason to think that that wouldn't pass at the RNC convention, whatever's in the platform. But as for going through different parts of it, obviously, I like some of the pulling back that they did there. I don't like to go in after your political enemies and things like that, but I'll have to read it and see what it says because, after all, this is MSNBC. So let's get to why Donald Trump should resign. That's what I want to see.
Vaughn, thank you very much for that reporting. Rick, this new platform kind of steering the party away from traditional GOP issues that may not play well with more middle-of-the-road voters, right, on abortion, on same-sex marriage. But can voters trust that what is in this platform will be binding? Will Republicans stick to it?
Well, a platform is it doesn't matter. I think it doesn't really matter what's in the platform so much as what the candidates say, and more importantly, what they're actually going to do, what they're actually willing to fight for. The platform can say whatever it wants to say, but if everyone wants to ignore it, then it means nothing. Very similarly to the Constitution.
Look, it remains to be seen. There wasn't a platform in 2020 significantly, and there was in 2016, but without a pro-life and a pro-marriage platform in the Republican Party, I don't see where the party survives. It is going to split. There is just too many pro-life Republicans. I would find it very hard to believe that they would adopt the Republican Party, which tells you this is not the Republican Party anymore, would adopt a platform that is not firmly in the pro-life camp and acknowledges marriage between one man and one woman, which is what the 2016 platform said, and this platform would not have that. And remember, evangelicals all over the country, they have, their churches have election day sermons, particularly the largest ones, the Calvary Chapel churches, and those pastors will get up there and what are they going to explain? That you're going to vote for Donald Trump, who represents the party that is no longer pro-life. I find that really, really hard to believe that people would do that. And any leader in the pro-life movement, clearly it pays more to be pro-Trump than pro-life, is going to go out there and advocate for a president who's not going to wholeheartedly back a platform that is pro-life and pro-marriage. I find that really extraordinary, and it represents a huge weakness in the party.
That's interesting. So he's saying that the party will split because of the stance on abortion. I don't know that that's true, only because from what I understand, they say that it should be left up to the states. I think that's the correct answer. I think it should be left up to the states. And again, like I said, I don't even think the states should be involved. It should be at the individual level, but that's neither here nor there. Whether or not that's going to split the Republican Party, I've seen a lot of posting on X and everywhere else that there are people that are very upset about this, obviously. Just like when the Libertarian Party removed the pro-choice plank from the platform, or the abortion plank, if you want to call it that. Just like when we removed that from the Libertarian Party, there was a lot of hubbub about it. Obviously this is a much bigger platform to GOP. So I don't think it's going to make a huge difference, though, because like I said, it's not saying that they're pro-choice. It's saying that it should be left up to the states. And that kind of turns the table a little bit, kind of puts the shoe on the other foot, or there's this term for that I can't think of right now. But the point is that it kind of puts the ball in their court and just says, hey, you don't like abortion, you want to fight against abortion, then you do it at the state level. And honestly, that's not a bad gamble. And I don't think that they're going to split the party or lose a ton of support over this. I mean, we'll see what happens at the RNC convention, but I really don't expect a whole lot to come of this.
People keep talking about, Joe Biden resigning, which I think he should, but I also think Donald Trump should resign because he's a convicted felon. We shouldn't have. It'd be great if we just had both of them resign. We could just start this mess all over again.
Trump was out.
Wait, so that's the clip? Oh my God. So what? He should resign because he's a convicted felon? That's the point? This fucking guy? Oh my gosh. Come on. If you were going to say, there has to be something else. There has to be something else. Why? This is it? 34 counts. This is something we covered on the show, on the live show. And if you were there last night, thanks for watching. But what the hell? 34 counts? Come on. 34 counts of a what? Of a writing a check to a porn star that he paid to shut up and didn't shut up, and actually ended up paying her, I think it was well over $500,000 by the time you count in the court fees and everything, or not the court fees, but the lawyer fees and all the other stuff. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. That's the reason? Come on, dude. This guy's not serious. He's not serious. That's why you're a Republican commentator on MSNBC with a smug-ass fucking face. You're not real.
Actually on Fox last night and was asked about President Biden's insistence that he's going to stay in the race. Here's how Trump sees it.
Okay.
It looks to me like he may very well stay in. He's got an ego and he doesn't want to quit. He doesn't want to do that. It just looks to me like that's what he wants. Nobody wants to give that up that way. He's going to feel badly about himself for a long time. It's hard to give it up that way.
He's not going to give it up. Dude, Joe Biden is staying in. I wish I would have bought it when it was 40 cents on Predicted for Joe Biden to stay in. It's much higher now, but damn, he's not going anywhere. I think Trump's right about that.
Rick, your reaction to these comments from Trump on Biden's ego?
Well, look, Biden has been in office since he's been 29 years old. He's now 81. The problem is that cognitive decline, if that's indeed what it is, I do not know, does not get better with time. He's going to be 81. And the way the campaign in the White House is treating him is really, to me, it's just despicable. Let's have him do a press conference, let's have him do a live interview, let's have him do this and that. He's not going to get younger. He's not going to be 78 at the end of all this. He's still going to be 81. And people are not electing people for Joe Biden to get through the next press conference. They're electing him to be president for 4 more years. And that is the issue. And I think Democrats, although some of them are saying it, do realize that they are electing someone for 4 more years, not just to get through the next press conference. And so they have really got to handle this. And I just think it's not been handled very well at all. And there's a lot of questions still to be answered. I don't know the answers, but there's a lot of questions.
This guy, he's a Lincoln Republican, right? He has to be a Lincoln Project Republican, a never Trump guy, like that. He has to be. These are just such weak ass talking points. The media should be ashamed of the way they're treating Joe Biden, that he has to get through the next press conference or whatever. All this kind of just like general bullshit. Like, this guy is so out of touch. I don't know. He annoys me. I don't know. What do y'all think? I think that guy is off his damn rocker. I knew he was going to be. It was an MSNBC video saying that Donald Trump should be the one to resign because he will split the party despite having 80% approval rating consistently for the last few years. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And that guy didn't make the argument. I was open to hearing the argument. Like, why is Donald Trump going to split the party? In the back of my mind, I knew it was going to be bullshit. I didn't think it was going to be 34 counts. That's your reasoning? Come on, dude.